Hello everybody, it's Sarah, and today is such a beautiful weather, so I thought I'd film outside because it would be a shame to stay inside on a day like today, and because of that the lighting is sometimes like this. I thought I'd just sit down and talk to you, have a little book chat, have some things I want to talk about. I thought I'd start by telling you that I'm currently reading Jack London's The Sea-Wolf, and it made me realize something which I did know unconsciously, but I just kind of really realized it. And it's that if I read a book and I like it, then I completely fall into that book, and a lot of my thoughts are just about that book. And everybody I see who knows me, I'm just like, oh god, read this book, it's so amazing, let's go. I'm going to give it to you. When I'm finished, you have to read it. But in the end, as soon as I'm finished with the book, it's a kind of like, okay, now that chapter of my life is kind of closed, and it's not that important to me anymore. I might still have a few days where I think about the book, but after that, I just forget about it. Funnily, I'm not really somebody who can read at home. I can't lie in my bed and read. Or at least, well, I sometimes can do that, but it's not too often that I can just be alone in my room and read. I am a person who loves reading with other people. Something else that might be interesting about my reading habits is that actually I am a rereader. I read very quickly, and I don't read every single word when I'm reading. I kind of just 2 or 3 words per sentence, and I kind of get it what it's about, which is why I'm done very quickly usually when I read a book, and which is one of the reasons why I love rereading so much, because every time I read a book I just notice different things. And you could say maybe that that's not good, that it would be better if I read slower but noticed every single detail, but I just love rereading. I don't even know why. And every time I reread a book I discover a new layer, and it just makes me really happy. I think everybody reads in his own way, and I can't even read slowly. I discussed this a lot with Anna, that while she's reading she develops a lot of theories, and I don't do that actually, because I read too fast to do that. And especially with YA literature, I'm done in, I don't know, 4 hours sometimes. I don't think enough during my reading to develop theories. And the first book where I actually noticed that I did develop theories, that I thought about it enough, and that's just because I had to take my time with those books because they're like big, are the A Song of Ice and Fire books. And I thought it was interesting, but yeah, I also just like being surprised, not knowing, reading too quickly to think about the book, and because of that not seeing what is happening. So yeah, that's just some thoughts on my reading habits. Then something else, because I'm probably going to upload this instead of the top 5 Wednesday favorite Hunger Games moments, because I have not read the Hunger Games and I actually don't have any interest in reading them. Maybe I'm going to read them if there's no other book that I want to read instead at the moment, but I thought now might be a good time to tell you about some other stuff that I have not read, or at least have not finished reading. For example, I have read the first 2 books only of the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, which actually is a shame, because when I was about 8 to when I was about 13, 14, I was obsessed with ancient Greece and with ancient Greek mythology. And I read only books that were like that. I read all of those, I don't know, like time-traveling detective children's books, and especially those where they traveled to ancient Greece. But for some reason I never found the Percy Jackson books, and because of that I never read them. And now I've read the first 2 books, and I'm just always waiting to find a cheap box set, because I don't want to buy each book extra. So yeah, I have not read Percy Jackson. I also never finished the Harry Potter series. There, I said it. And I have read the first 5 books. Well, I haven't read them myself. My mother read them to me. But the 6th and the 7th, I kinda left them out. So, yeah. It's really funny because I was 6 when the first movie came into the cinema, and I saw it, which is why I always think it's strange that people say the Harry Potter movies are too scary for children, because I wasn't too scared. And after I saw the movie, I was really interested, and I saw it with my mother, and my mother was really interested as well. So she bought me the 3rd book, actually, because she didn't know which was the first for some reason. And at the time I didn't really read myself, not yet at least, because I read my first book when I was 7. And so she started reading them to me, and she started with the 3rd one, and we were really confused, and after that the 1st and the 2nd one, and maybe the 4th one. I'm not sure if it was published at that time or not. And she also read the 5th book to me, but at the time when the 5th book was published, I was already almost too old for her to read to me. I couldn't sit still long enough, or whatever, I don't know. And at the end, the whole 5th book was so depressing, and the ending was even more depressing for me, because I loved Sirius Black. And if there's anyone out there who still isn't spoiled for the Harry Potter series, I'm not sorry for spoiling you, because how did you manage to stay away from both the movies and the books for such a long time? So I was also really depressed when Sirius Black died, because I loved him and my mother loved him as well. And then we bought the 6th book. Again, she started reading the 6th book to me. At that point it was just a tradition between us that she would read them to me, even though she didn't read to me at all at that time. And for some reason we never got past the point where Harry was beat up by Malfoy. So I don't know, maybe now that there are the illustrated versions, I'm just going to buy them one each year and just reread them, and then read the 6th and the 7th. But yeah, and it's not like I don't want to finish the series, it's just something that never happened, because there was always something that I wanted to read more. And I still really love Harry Potter though, and it was a big part of my childhood. There aren't many dystopian young adult series that I have read. Basically only the Virgin series and the first 2 parts of the Shatter Me series. Something that I'm really embarrassed about as a major fantasy reader is I have never finished the Lord of the Rings series. I also have never read a Jane Austen book. also something I need to change. This place here is just, it's where I spent a major part of my childhood. And actually this is still Vienna. Actually it's getting kind of cold right now, so I thought I just wanted to have a little chat with you, and I am going home right now. I hope I'll see you soon. Tell me your reading habits, tell me your embarrassing books that you have not read, and kiss kiss.